ममता बनर्जी सी इज लूजिंग हर ग्राउंड, हारने वाला है, इसलिए ज्यादा तो बोलने का कोई जरूरत नहीं।
अगर ऐसा ईवीएम मशीन को लूट करने के लिए, अगर काउंटिंग लूट करने के लिए कोई कोशिश करे तो हम जिंदगी मौत चेक कर काम करेंगे।
This is a special broadcast. The focus is on Bengal. Zaka Jacob, our managing editor, Shreya Dhondial, executive editor. And let's get started with the breaking input we are tracking at top of the bulletin. Kunal Ghosh, considered Mamata Banerjee's closest state or one of the closest states, has said something that the BJP had been warning of. He's talking of post-poll violence in as many words. There's also a line on Newton's third law. Listen to him to believe it.
जिस लोग पूरा प्रोवोकेशन पूरा वो सेंट्रल होम मिनिस्टर उल्टा करके लटका देंगे, कोई बोल रहा है ये, कोई बोल रहा है वो, आप प्री पोल प्रोवोकेशन दिया है और पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस का लिए आप रो रहे हैं, ये कैसा होगा? न्यूटन साहब का तो एक थर्ड लॉ है ना। तो हम लोग शांति चाहते हैं। ये ममता दीदी फिर चीफ मिनिस्टर होने वाली है, हम लोग का पूरा शांति रखना होगा। हम सब हमारा वर्कर्स को बोला है कोई प्रोवोकेशन में आप लोग मत आइए, लेकिन वो प्री पोल प्रोवोकेशन दिया है, अभी वो पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस का नाटक कर रहा है।
Kunal Ghosh saying in as many words that what the BJP did was pre-poll provocation and they must be prepared for post-poll violence. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, JVC Sriram, Rashid Kidwai, Sabha Nakvi, Shekhar Iyer, Ashwini Kumar Mishra, Dr. Shantanu Sen will be joining us, the national spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Niladri Bhattacharya with us, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, completes the panel. Zaka, we've been talking about, the prospects of post-poll violence and how the large number of paramilitary central forces will ensure that that doesn't happen. But look at the language here.
Yeah, I mean, look, he does speak his through his hat, really, Kunal Ghosh. He's not exactly, someone who is known for diplomatic talk. But even by his own standards, to say openly that pre-poll provocation hua and not to expect post-poll violence when there are 70 companies of CAPF, and given, the dark memories from 5 years ago when there was post-poll violence, a lot of people, were dragged out of their homes, they were beaten, they were killed. I don't think it speaks well to this culture of political violence in Bengal. Let's open this up to our guest, Anand Ranganathan. You want to start off? I mean, this is someone who is, openly saying that be prepared.
No, good evening, Zaka. But you can't even say that the mask has fallen off because the mask wasn't just there. It was put up on TMC by the so-called activists and this, outrage brigade. The fact of the matter is, when he brings up this ridiculous justification as a kind of action-reaction theory, please remember that for close to a decade, Narendra Modi was wrongly attributed with this action-reaction theory, even though he said we don't want neither action or reaction. That was cut out. He was castigated for having this theory in practice. And out here, openly it's being said, because you provoked us pre-poll, we are going to have these repercussions and you need to face the repercussion post-poll. If we are to go down that road, then that justifies violence as retribution for any violent event that has ever happened, and that's sickening.
Before we go to Dr. Shantanu Sen, Sabha Nakvi, I mean, is this par for the course or should we take it with a pinch of salt?
The Home Minister did say, correct me if I'm wrong, that the people will be strung upside down. And a lot of things were said from the others, from the political. So it's let's be clear about that. And if you actually hear him carefully, he's not exactly saying he's going to go out and riot or kill people. It is a jumbled up sort of thing. You are threatening us, there will be. So you can interpret what he's saying. I'm not defending him. But was it not said that we're going to, supposing someone said this about somebody who's a woman leader, that you're going to string all those people upside down, should we not be a little outraged by that also?
I think we can take a reaction from Dr. Shantanu Sen. I think he's joined us. Hi, good evening, Dr. Shantanu Sen. Welcome to the show. We've just heard what one of your comrades in arm has said. Any reaction coming into it?
I have joined just now. I couldn't hear what is she said.
Kunal Ghosh, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, essentially threatening post-poll violence. Newton's law.
If Kunal Ghosh has said that every action is...
No, he said it thrice before, by the way. I was just Googling. He's used this twice before. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. It is not only Kunal Ghosh. It has been said by Sir Isaac Newton. That's a
Hence the name.
law of Isaac Newton. You cannot deny it.
Huh.
It is applicable everywhere in life. It is not Kunal Ghosh who has said it for the first time. It has been said by Sir Isaac Newton, and it is known as the Newton's third law.
But Newton didn't say anything about post-poll violence, na sir?
So far the post-poll violence is concerned, Trinamool, who is confident of having thumping majority, who is confident of forming Trinamool Congress government for the 4th consecutive time, they don't need to take the path of hooliganism. On the contrary, the way Election Commission has conducted this election, the entire administration is under Election Commission, not under Madam Mamata Banerjee. So even if anything happens, the responsibility lies on the shoulder of Ganesh Kumar and Manoj Agarwal. They cannot deny their responsibility if anything happens.
Well, there are 70,000 troops that have been committed to West Bengal, even once the elections are over, for 60 days till the elections are over. But I think Charu wants to respond to you. Charu Pragya of the BJP joining us on the broadcast as well. Charu, you are smiling, raising your hand. Go ahead, please.
Yes, and I just want to say this, that the 92.47% voter turnout was not just for anti-incumbency, it was for anti-intimidation. This kind of anti-intimidation that the people needed to stand up against. Because listen to Kunal Ghosh today. He's openly threatening violence, and at least he's threatening it. In the past, all TMC netas have indulged in it to such an extent that there were thousands of cases of post-poll violence last time. 300 people from my party lost their lives at the hands of the violence that TMC unleashed after winning elections, Shreya. That was what they did after they won elections. But the days of the politics of fear are over, and the indication is that everybody in TMC today is so agitated. They're all issuing statements. A chief minister who has won 3 terms is now threatening to sit on dharna. That's how scared she is. She went around booth to booth on the day of polling, which was unprecedented.
Just one second. They were getting live shots of a TMC delegation that has reached the EC office. I think this is in Kolkata. That's
right. That's Hridita is joining us live for more on that. Yes, Hridita.
Well, what you can see as the visual of the 3-member delegation which has just reached the CEO office. You can see the mayor of the city, Firad Hakim, along with Ashim Bose, who is the councillor of the Bhawanipur constituency. Remember, on the day of elections, he was present along with the chief minister, Mamata. Needed for champion constituency to reach here. However, one champion, he had said that we will speak to the CEO and then brief the media first. So remember, yesterday, after that had come out from the Trinamool Congress that they alleged of a trespassing incident taking place in the Netaji Indoor in the Khudiram Onushalani, which is one of the strong rooms. The CM herself was also sitting at another strong room in Shekhawat. Today also there was intimation that there can be movements in the Khudiram Onushalan, but after that, now prior to Shubhendu Adhikari reaching the CEO office, the 3-member delegation team, already 2 people have reached the CEO office, and we have waited for Dr. Shashi Pata on one side, and on the other side, we can see that Dr. Shashi Pata is also entering. Those are the visuals. Ma'am, what are the reasons that you are raising? What are the reasons that you are raising? So, while you are going to speak to the CEO today, ma'am. Ma'am, there is polling going to happen. Any word on that?
Not really saying much. We'll try and get back to... yeah.
TMC.
what Amit Shah said about Didi. This is verbatim. I'm quoting Amit Shah. He said it at Arambagh rally. It wasn't for Didi. The exact statement is, I am warning Didi's goons not to step out of their homes on the 29th. If the people of Arambagh are troubled on 29th, after the 5th, ulta karke latkakar seedha kar denge, quote unquote. So it's not against Didi. It is unacceptable. The language is unacceptable.
And you were taking umbrage to the fact that ये सब खुला खुला हो रहा है. Open threat. Bengal में तो सब कुछ खुला खुला ही होता है.
It is a voting day, so what are you saying? Please understand how you can call the voters goons. There is a video of a Sharma ji from UP who is going and abusing local women in Hindi. So a lot of stuff is going on.
That doesn't justify what?
No, do you think that's okay to say ulta tang denge?
Absolutely not. But that's not a rationalization for saying.
Goons are allowed to vote.
So let's talk about that also.
Look, first
the
of
kind
all,
of language that has been unleashed on Bengali.
This is totally atrocious and unacceptable kind of remark that Kunal Ghosh has made. It has no place in a democratic polity. Thing is, we have a constitution, we have rule of law. I think post-election, there are only two scenarios. One is that, of course, TMC loses or TMC wins. Then, of course, the centre has a lot of powers to enforce rule of law.
No, but what happened in those 4 days in 2021
so
after the results were declared?
They should have got the constitutional provisions are there.
You can have 5 lakh, paramilitary or, troops there on the ground, but that does not mean that, political leaders will not speak responsibly.
My dear friend,
when Kunal Ghosh makes a statement like this,
first of all, central forces are always... No. First of all, you must understand...
They are there.
So you must understand law.
So we are sitting in our studio in Noida. There's a police station right outside. There are other police pickets. Does that give us a license to do what we want?
We must, that's what I'm saying, basic understanding of the constitution is required. Central forces are always at the disposal of the civil administration, the district administration. The DM has a right to convene army or any paramilitary forces for a flag march, for firing, for any purpose. So you must understand this is a
how is that related to such provocative
That's what I'm saying. So the state has to be administered by the state, by the chief minister, not by the central forces, not by the prime minister or home minister.
Dr. Sen wants to come in, and then maybe we can shift our focus to what happened last night. Yeah.
Dr. Sen.
Yeah, kindly allow me to finish. Yes, of course, I agree with my BJP colleague. This huge number of voters stood in the queue not only to give a befitting reply to this anti-Bengal and anti-Bengali Bharatiya Janata Party, they also stood in the queue to cast their vote against the intimidation that has been given by Prime Minister himself, saying, "Chun chun kar dekh lunga." Home Minister saying, "Ulta latka ke marunga." Yogi Adityanath saying, "Bulldozer chala dunga." And above all, the statement made by Honorable Home Minister, detect, delete and deport. जिसका नाम वोटर लिस्ट में नहीं रहेगा उसको बांग्लादेश भेज दूंगा. His intimidation का खिलाफ वोट दिया है. In the queue
Can I name those 4 people to you?
Vote against this intimidation given by up to the level of.
Can I come in, please?
And several
Okay, Dr. Sen, let's give Charu a second as well. Go ahead, Charu.
No, very quickly, can I? Yeah, there are only 4 people who agree with him. One is Mamata Banerjee, second is Abhishek Banerjee, one is Kalyan Banerjee, third one, and the 4th one is Kunal Ghosh. That's it. Apart from these 4 people who anyways are talking about violence, have you forgotten what Abhishek Banerjee said? Have you forgotten? He threatened violence. And every single leader in your party consequently has only been threatening violence. And I want to take you back 5 years ago, sir. Why do you forget that? Why are you trying to pretend that all of that didn't happen? And forget about just 5 years ago. Consequently, literally every few months,
Can we go to the shots of last night? Because there was intense drama, and I suspect this is going to continue for the next few days as well. Shreya, if you can walk us through this whole strong room tactics that were being adopted.
Essentially what happened is late night drama. I think all of us are aware because all of us have seen those pictures break on prime time, no less. So this was prime time drama playing out. Essentially the allegation coming in from the TMC is they release a CCTV video and say, look, there are people who have breached the CCTV. This essentially is vote chori. I'm paraphrasing them. Essentially this is vote chori by the Election Commission. And after that there is a dharna that starts. You have Kunal Ghosh who sits on dharna. You have Shashi Panja who sits on dharna. Then you have Mamata Banerjee who shows up as well and says this is a do or die situation. Be very vigilant. Don't even take loo breaks. Simply keep an eye. in the strong room. So that is all playing out today. We have seen an election, we have seen a representation both from the BJP and the TMC go to the Election Commission. Dr. Sen, as we see those pictures, can I please ask you, you are accusing the Election Commission essentially of vote chori. Can I ask you, Dr. Sen, very simply, who does vote chori on camera? There is CCTV footage. If vote chori was to happen, CCTV would have been switched off, right? The allegation itself is not making sense, sir.
Madam, could you identify who those pupils were?
Well, the Election Commission says there were people from the Election Commission and there was a separation of the postal ballot that was happening.
Madam, had there been a single representative of Trinamool Congress, our candidates like Kunal Ghosh and Dr. Sushi Paja, they are not mad people that they will be sitting outside this gate. They will be sitting for a dharna.
Dr. Sen, I agree they are not mad people. I didn't say they are mad people, but the Election Commission is saying that on the 29th, we had sent an email to every political party, every candidate and political party that please show up at 4 o'clock. This is what we are going to do. You don't come and then you say vote chori.
Madam, it is a basic responsibility of the Election Commission to play an impartial role to ensure the presence of representative of each and every political party. Trinamool Congress got the mail. Trinamool Congress sent their representatives. Initially, they were restrained from entering inside. Even after that, when our candidates went there, they were also restrained from entering
Hold
inside.
your thoughts. We're getting some breaking inputs that are coming in. Trinamool Congress has now approached the Supreme Court, challenging the Election Commission of India's decision to appoint only central government PSU employees as counting supervisors for West Bengal elections. The plea has been filed against the order of the Calcutta High Court refusing them the relief. So it's going down to the wire. Shivam is now joining us for more on that. Yes, Shivam.
Exactly, Pranesh, and as you rightly mentioned, this has come after the Calcutta High Court on Thursday basically, denied their petition, dismissed the petition where they were basically challenging that the central government officers during the counting day may, mobilize, may work according to the central government and may, interfere with the polling process. At that time also, Calcutta High Court Justice Krishna Rao clearly said that it is hard to believe any merit in these points because there will be electoral officers, there will be your agents as well. You have your party agents inside the booth to understand. You have the access also. There will be media as well. So to get the point that the TMC was basically making that the central government officer will try to influence the voting and they may tamper with something that will eventually change or tamper the results in something that the bench has dismissed.
Let me put that to Sabha Naqvi. I mean, what is wrong with having central government officers there? Every election they are there. What is the big deal?
Let me understand this. The state of Bengal, one of India's large states, the second largest language after Hindi spoken in India, the state of Bengal, voters can be deleted. You cannot have the state bureaucracy sitting there in polling booths. You have a military encampment over there. What are you doing here? You are saying, no, only the center knows. So then I have
how can they manipulate the votes when the counting is happening?
Then what is the problem if the state officers are there? Why ask if they cannot, if we buy the simplicity? Let me finish, Rashid. What is the problem if state officers are there? Is there something we are saying, no, they're all very suspect. These people are very violent. We can't trust Bengalis. We've got to cut out their nose. That is the whole tone.
Please explain to me how can you manipulate when the counting is happening?
You can do.
You have to, every round, you have to show the machine.
You can slow, you get that. You can slow down counting. You let other people in. You let security forces in. There can be so many games inside a polling booth.
But
if you have a military
you're a veteran of election counting. Every round, the machine has to be shown. The machine has to be shown to every agent of every political party, every candidate.
Can you share?
And then move to the next round. They have to sign off.
Tell me the point she's raising. Why this element of distrust in the state machinery? The state, they are also drop their salary. They are people of integrity. You cannot. Such a
when UP goes for elections, when Gujarat goes for elections, the same element of distrust is there. But it's the other way around. Please let me finish. I've been
wrong. That's factually wrong.
Please.
The state bureaucracy sits there.
No, 1 second. One
You're
second.
trying to give factually incorrect information.
Let him at least make it.
Let me just make a point. Whenever Samajwadi Party comes to power, you know what happens in the first 24 to 48 hours. en masse, all officers are completely changed to another set of officers. Why does that happen? Why does that happen?
How is
In an element where when you trust,
talking about a state
I can't.
service.
Even in studio,
We are
I'm being
talking about
interrupted. I think
state
Pradesh, this is a
bureaucracy.
new.
Can't call
Okay,
this
let's
is
not
paramilitary here,
understand
sir.
Because I, you know,
One at a time.
You're
Let him make his
one
point.
must trust one's fellow panelists to at least
No,
be
you-
able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
speak.
Make your
Please,
point.
but-
Make your
Okay, show me the
The point-
example
the
where
point-
outside of Kashmir
sir,
or Manipur,
let's-
where you
let her
remove the
finish.
state bureaucracy. Tell me the examples. Show me
The-
that. Did it happen in
Sir,
Gujarat?
there's a
Did it
reason
happen
why
in
the
UP?
court also did not intervene, which is why
No, so we are
you
going
see
there.
a situation where
I think it's an
this has
insult
gone
to
to
the
the Supreme
bureaucrats
Court.
and the state.
But I'll give you an example. We are May 2021. Listen to this, sir. Listen to
Propriety
this.
is
This
more important than
answers.
the
How do you think
legality
the
of it.
state bureaucrats are feeling? You're telling them, no, you're incompetent. The state guy, Mr. Sharma from, what is his name? That cop.
And the CBI was there to arrest a state police officer. The CBI sleuths were arrested.
Yeah.
Do you remember
I'm
that?
not saying that. I'm talking about the state bureaucracy.
Okay, let me-
Please
let me-
understand the
No,
difference.
Shekhar
In
is
this case,
giving
they're
an
saying the
instance.
state bureaucracy
Sir,
should not be there, only
one
central
second.
bureaucrats.
One second.
So tell me when that happened before.
No, so he's giving you that instance. Yeah.
I'll tell you. When last night, when the hearing was going on, Election Commission specifically told Kolkata High Court, this is not unique to West Bengal. In Kerala, they brought central offices. In other states, this has been a practice. In Tamil, even in this election, even in this election, see, it is not that we are doing only for there is a central offices are used.
Not bringing.
And mind you, those central offices have not come from flown from other states. There are a lot of central government establishments in
Nobody will believe this is a recipe for anarchy, and this is not right.
The state bureaucracy.
Okay. We also have a breaking. One second. We have a breaking input. Mamata Banerjee is going to have. One second, please, gentlemen, lady. She's going to have a virtual meeting. If I'm reading that right, she's going to have a virtual meeting with all her counting agents,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
That happens tomorrow. And here's an example from May 2021. I'm sure you're familiar with the name Abhijit Sarkar, 35-year-old BJP worker, dragged out of his house in North Kolkata, brutally murdered in broad daylight, sir, allegedly by the TMC workers.
Not be heard. That they'll go deaf.
Yeah, no, but
They'll
you
go
know,
deaf. Because
and
women
there
were
are
raped.
many instances
Women
like
were
this,
raped
which
on
is
that
why.
day.
So
Women were raped on that day. A union minister's car was being pulled out. So much of torture and violence had happened. But I will turn Nelson's eye towards all those
A
things.
60-year-old woman alleged that she was raped in front of a 6-year-old grandson by
50
TMC workers.
workers, BJP workers died in last time.
Yes. So was there governor's?
That is
There was arson. Yes, there was.
So
there
do we
was.
get rid of the
No,
state
let us not. What happened in 21? You can't.
I have a very simple point.
No, Rashid.
Mr. Iyer, it is
No,
not
you
about
can't
directive, it is also
No,
about
state
commentary.
bureaucrats
That's
in Bengal we can't trust.
This is a standard
No,
operating
but I want to
practice
come
of,
back.
what
One
happened
second.
in
I
Gujarat?
want to come back to this breaking. One second. Sabha, one second. We're coming back to this breaking story. Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee are going to have a virtual meeting with each one of their counting agents across the 294 constituencies, right? Are you telling me that the Election Commission counting officials, the central bureaucrats can, pull wool over the eyes of these counting agents across 294 constituencies? Who are Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee's people who are there in every single counting center, every single constituency? No, tell me, please.
Anyway,
Zaka, the
I give
point
up.
here is that you need to have some kind of trust in the state bureaucracy also.
That
This
is
cannot
not
be.
No, that is a problem.
What happened now? What happened?
Then you impose president's rule.
What happened in 2021?
Then you impose president's
that
rule.
trust-
If there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery,
No, absence of
there is a
trust
breakdown of
is.
constitutional
That would be a better
machinery.
option.
Can I give instance? Because, this is... I want to give
a
facts here.
disservice to the viewer.
Yes, I want to give facts.
Nobody will make out what we are saying. One person up.
The problem is if you don't go by facts, then you can say whatever you want. In 2004 Bengal elections, officers were brought from outside. Not all.
But the state
So,
bureaucrats were also there.
there we go.
You're missing
What
the
do you mean
point
state
here,
bureaucrats? It just
State
says
bureaucrats are
the
not being
ECI side.
allowed.
Now you are shifting the goalposts.
No,
Why
that
were
is
the
the
officers
point.
brought down and
Sabaji,
replaced the
let
state?
me ask you one question.
It has
You are
happened in
saying-
Kashmir. It has happened in
Dr.
Bengal.
Ranganathan, 1 minute.
It is a
Sir, 1
point
minute.
of
Let me ask her
ethics.
one question, ma'am.
You cannot shun a whole state
Sabaji, you are
bureaucracy.
saying
It
you
will
are-
it will create
Okay.
no.
Now to answer your question.
What is going on?
What happened post-violence?
Shekhar,
You didn't say a word on
I
that.
covered an
Then
election.
what are you
in
trying to
Gujarat
cover
where
up?
people were
Which
burnt
Trinamool leaders
alive.
themselves acknowledge.
You know, I have covered those elections.
Okay,
Forget your covering. We all have covered elections. Don't keep on saying I have
Niladri
covered. I have covered. We all
Bhattacharya
have
is now
covered.
joining the
We are
broadcast.
not just
Mr. Bhattacharya.
bench watchers. I mean, don't bring it that. Don't try to ignore those things.
Mr.
Have a
Okay.
second.
I mean, you have been doing it every time.
Counting is 2 days away.
We know.
He's also
But
done it.
You
Shekhar is also
don't.
journalist
See,
for
you have
40
to
years.
acknowledge certain facts. What happened in 2021? There was a governor report. The fact is, election commission power ends
I have
on
never
the day
seen
they
Mr.
declare
Iyer
the
this
results.
agitated.
They can't do anything.
Okay,
324
now
doesn't
calm down.
operate there.
Let's get in the BJP spokesman. I think spokesperson, she wants to say
So
something.
before Charu comes in, Niladri is joining us. Yes,
as well.
Mr. Bhattacharya, what do you make of the kind of comments we've heard from Kunal Ghosh? Action, reaction, Newton's law.
Kunal Ghosh is a very erudite and speaker. He speaks very well. Definitely, if you should listen to him in Bengali, he uses the choicest of words, very hard words.
Okay,
But,
just stay with us. Sukanta Majumdar, Union Minister, is now joining us. Mr. Majumdar, thank you for speaking to Times Now. What is your take on the remarks by Mr. Kunal Ghosh? I'm sure you're aware of what he said.
I don't follow Kunal Ghosh, so I don't know what he has said. But, he has passed so many comments. Once he passed such a comment that the most important beneficiaries of the Sharada scam is Mamata Banerjee. So such kind of statement was given by him also. So I don't follow him. You can repeat his statement.
He has warned of post-poll violence. He says what the BJP has done is pre-poll provocation. What awaits them is post-poll violence.
Now see, we have faced 2021 post-poll violence, but this time won't happen it because BJP is going to win this election. And if some mishap happens, so obviously as you were mentioning, I think just when I have joined, that according to Newton's third law, there is a reaction to every and each reaction, an opposite reaction. So obviously there will be reactions.
No, but
Because
Mr. Majumdar, he is saying that pre-poll provocations came from the BJP side. Therefore, wait for the result. After the result, there will be a reaction to it.
Yeah, provocation, what kind of provocation he is talking about, I don't know. The kind of words used by the TMC leadership against the Honorable Prime Minister of this country, Honorable Home Minister of this country, even they called by names Narendra and Amit. It is really shameful. Not only so, I would like to replay the statements given by the Abhishek Banerjee. The kind of threatening he has given in Khanakul and different parts of the states. He was just talking like a gunda. So all time provocation comes from the ruling party, the TMC, because they have a big, bouquet of, gundas and the hooligans.
Okay.
And they do hooliganism during the election. The problem is that this time Election Commission of India has played a crucial role to curb the violence. And that's why they are annoyed.
Mr. Majumdar, you said, what is this provocation that the TMC is talking about? The provocation played out last night. I'm fairly certain you saw it on live television. The accusation is that the BJP, through the Election Commission, is trying to do vote chori, which is why in the strong room there were people without the knowledge of the TMC.
Now, see,
gadbad kar rahe hain, essentially is the charge.
Is it possible to do something with the EVM by sitting outside the EVM strong room? How you can do? How you can connect a device which does not contain any kind of network? Either you need a wire connection or need some kind of wireless connection. So how can you do? And Election Commission has already said that for the segregation of the ballots, they have made both BJP, Congress, TMC and all the other parties. Both the TMC and BJP and all the other parties. So why they did not come? So is we responsible for that?
No, Mr. Majumdar, Mr. Majumdar, the counter argument to that is this. The TMC is saying, all right, we didn't see the mail, we missed it. But does that mean that the Election Commission will start the process without the TMC candidate being present? You could have called. You could have gotten in touch and said, we are starting the process, come if you can. This is the counter from the TMC, it's not my counter.
No, counter from the TMC is coming. I don't know whether it is as per the rules and regulation of Election Commission of India or not. I don't know. I am not here to defend Election Commission of India. So if whatever statement given by the Election Commission of India, I have repeated that statement. The thing is that every time Election Commission of India will call someone, and is it justified? Every time, is it justified that every time they will call?
So, Mr. Majumdar, now the TMC has moved the Supreme Court against the Calcutta High Court order yesterday, saying that how can you have only central government bureaucrats inside the counting centres? There should be state government bureaucrats as well. What would you say to that?
It will be a team, I think, the mixture of both the employees. And they can move, and it has been rejected by the Election Commission, High Court of Kolkata. Then that's why they have shifted to the Supreme Court. So we will wait for the court judgment. But you know, the state government employees always they remain up.
Mr. Majumdar, we have our election team in the studio. They have a few questions for you. Dr. Ranganathan goes first.
I was just substantiating what he said, Mr. Majumdar. In Bengal 2004 elections, 50% of the officers were brought in from outside. In Jammu and Kashmir, 1996 elections, more than 56% from outside. In Assam 2026 elections, 29% have been brought in from outside. Assam is ruled by BJP or Congress. So this is the problem. In Bengal as well, not every officer has been replaced, but people have been brought in from outside. The matter went to the Kolkata High Court. The Kolkata High Court okayed it. Now, yes, the studio High Court has not okayed it. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay, no, let's get a final word from Mr. Majumdar. We'll let him go after that. Mr. Majumdar, no, one second. So Mamata Banerjee is saying BJP is resorting to all kinds of dirty, underhand tactics because they know they are losing this election. You are saying that this is a sign of Mamata being nervous.
Now, see, first of all, I would like to ask the whole country through you that whatever the violence, little bit of violence happened in this election, have you seen in other states?
No.
Have you seen in Jammu Kashmir? Have you seen in Assam? Have you seen in Kerala? This time, this is the first election, I don't know after how many years, first time during the election, no one lives, we have lost nothing, we have lost not a single life. So this is the first, I am seeing my first election in which the less amount of violence happened in my lifetime.
I think Sabha.
So whether we should come out of this legacy or not, whether we should come out of this legacy of violence or not. An election commission this time, I will give them 9.9 out of 10. Till now, they are very successful in curbing the violence.
Okay, Mr. Majumdar, we'll have you back again on the 4th of May. Whichever way the result is, you have to promise us whether you win or lose. Thank you for joining us. I believe, you know, we need to go back to the math of why, even for the BJP, as hopeful as they are, this is still an uphill climb. Winning Bengal, it's sort of the last fortress, last frontier for the BJP. Here are the numbers, Yasha.
These are just some of the numbers we are throwing to you, and then there are 3 scenarios we are sketching out. This is a 6-bench, this is a...
Studio High Court.
This Studio High Court is a 6-bench High Court. So you can, you are free to agree and disagree.
We are amicus.
Chaliye. So let's start with 2021. What was the difference in votes between the TMC and the BJP? 60 lakh. The TMC polled 2.89, the BJP 2.29. 60 lakh is the difference. This time, 2026, additional votes cast, 29 lakhs, SIR deletions, 27 lakhs. I'm not going to this right now. Let's just, sketch out the three scenarios and then all of you can have your own opinions. Can we just, flip the graphics to scenario 1 now? Now, this is the first scenario. If the majority of the SIR deletions, which is 27 lakh, are TMC voters, then possibly the outcome is a close fight between the TMC and the BJP. That is scenario 1. Scenario 2, if the majority of the additional votes, which is 29 lakh, are in favor of the BJP, this is a big if, of course, then the outcome is the BJP may have an edge. But there is a third scenario as well. If a significant majority of the 60 lakh, which is TMC voters, this difference, stick to Didi, then it could be advantage TMC on May 4th. I think we can open the floor to that. JVC, would you want to go?
No, see, what we are seeing is there is an increase in seat, absolute increase in seat in each constituency on an average is 9,089. 9,089 is the increase.
Okay.
So what we are hearing, what is increase in average
votes.
across
So roughly about 27 lakh votes.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So what we are seeing is the ground reports which we are getting is, report is that many of them have been TMC voters. At the same time,
the additional votes, the new votes that have
the deleted. The
deletion. Okay.
So and going back to what I said yesterday, you dispute it, you don't dispute it. 37 lakh voters who probably did not vote in 2021 because they live in other states have come to Kolkata or Durgapur or various places and are voting. Most of them are voting for BJP. That is the reason why we are giving an edge as far as BJP
but
is
on
concerned.
these numbers, let's go back to scenario 1.
Scenario 1.
Scenario 1. Yeah. If a majority of, go to scenario 1, please. Yeah. If a majority of the deletions are TMC voters, as you think they are, then this is going to be a much closer fight.
Close fight.
So it puts paid to the same argument that the TMC has been making. The SIR was to delete their voters.
So
that's their argument.
Can I throw in a spanner? In a spanner? The majority of SIR deletions also include 50% that are dead and missing. If those were ghost voters voting for TMC.
No. This 27 lakh does not include dead. That is a different figure. That's a 90 lakh figure. This 27 lakh are the ones who are under adjudication.
But the point I'm making is that of those who are now declared dead and possibly, obviously could not vote, if they were voting in the previous elections for TMC, then that's a spanner in the works.
That's scenario 4.
As what Shekhar was saying yesterday.
And you need to add the 37 lakhs.
This is exactly what Shekhar was saying yesterday.
No, but Mr. Kidwai,
need to be added.
He's been saying...
First of all, no. Yes. There are two things. I think we should not link it to, what a SIR deletion is very unfortunate and it's uncalled for and all kind of things have been said. It's actually violation of democratic rights. But I don't think in the final run on the May 4th, it will have any bearing. The winner will be a winner, the loser will be a loser. So it will not be in, we don't need to get into technicalities.
The TMC for the last 6 months, they've been trying
because on the very
that,
important,
our voters are getting deleted.
Zaka, TMC is a political party. They are within their rights. Point I'm saying, and you may agree with me, that this deletion of names of legitimate voters is most unfortunate. It's a blot on democracy.
Closer home, do people agree with you? वहीं आसपास पूछिए आप मिश्रा जी, सभा जी.
Absolutely. No.
See, if
64 presiding officer, 64 persons were the presiding officer, they didn't vote. And somebody says in the court of law that, you vote 5 years later.
No, Rashid,
Is this
the
democracy?
Rashid, the point is this, and actually Sabha weigh in on this, Mr. Mishra weigh in on this. The point, look at the numbers. The difference, the total votes polled in 2021, the difference between the TMC and the BJP was 60 lakh vote. This time, 27 lakh have been deleted and 29 extra lakh votes have come in. That roughly adds up to 56 lakh.
The real trick since the age of SIR and since Maharashtra, of course, deletions matter. And deletions used to happen in different ways. Strong arm tactics, keeping people off the rolls in a much more old-fashioned muscle way, not through this what the Election Commission did in the case of Bengal only. This logical discrepancy is an outrage, which the court will have to address it. So let me finish. So you have that situation. The question is always the additions.
Yeah.
The mysterious people whose names they suddenly find themselves in the polling room and they're suddenly added. They're cleared, everything clears. That is a feature which I think even the reporter friends who went to the field, who did good work on deletions, I have not found anyone who's been able to penetrate the web of the additions.
What is the mystery about additions?
So what is, I mean, if your name is
No,
there on
no,
the roll,
so I do
you
think-
get to
I
vote.
do
If your name
think
is
the
not there on the roll, you don't
I
get to
do
vote.
think
What is
that,
the addition?
No. Who are the people who get added? I also think that the numbers are designed to damage the BJP with the TMC, I'm so sorry, because of the logical discrepancy. It was so shocking
So
how
what
it
I'm
was
saying
done
is if
on names
both
and
of these
spelling.
add the extra votes that
And
have
by
come
the way,
in
people
and the
went to the
deletions,
field, they didn't
then
sit
the
in the
margin
studio.
between the TMC and the BJP suddenly shrinks. It's down to just 4 lakhs.
Not
And what is
at
4
all.
lakhs over 294
Dr.
constituencies?
Not if
It's
they're
about 1,200
added.
votes a seat.
See, I just want to make a point that this country and the advances are done on STEM, science and engineering, algorithms putting. That's not a blot on democracy. But where I agree with Mr. Kidwai, what is a blot on democracy is not the concept of logical discrepancy being applied. They gave a reason, Supreme Court agreed with it. The blot on democracy is that those 27 lakh cases were not adjudicated and decided upon before voting.
In time.
We are in
That's
agreement.
right.
So let's get that straight.
We all agree
The
on that.
procedure is not the blot on democracy.
No, the procedure
The
is a blot.
adjudication and lack of it is. I hope you agree with me.
Yes.
Can we just look at 109? All right, and then we look at 119 seats that could be crucial. We'll just get that graphic ready.
You guys discussing that BJP and TMC are poles apart, but you are telling that their voter who was voting for BJP will suddenly shift to TMC, or TMC voter who was voting for TMC suddenly shift to BJP.
We didn't say that at all.
That's what they are telling, that
No,
if the
that's
voter
not
shift
true.
happens from here to there,
I think that's you're misreading
why
that.
one will not go for another option which is there in Bengal? So why you
Congress
think
is
the
here.
voter shift will happen from TMC to BJP?
No, we didn't say at all that.
People's heart.
Anyway, let's go to this. Yeah. Let's go to this one last.
Even Adil Ranjan Chaudhary is losing.
Wait till 4th.
Yeah,
Wait till 4th and you'll see.
Adil Ranjan Chaudhary is
But
losing.
Congress will be happy if Adil Ranjan Chaudhary loses.
Yeah.
I think on the day of polling, the 4th of May, the loser will say this, हिसाब झुका तू, कुनबा डूबा क्यों?
Acha, chaliye. Should we just go to these graphics and, sort of further the discussion? All right, there are 119 seats that matter to the TMC the most because these are seats that have not been lost by the TMCs since 2011. Never. This is the winning percentage. Under 5%, 15 seats, 5 to 10%, 22 seats, 10 to 20%, 53 seats, 20%, 29 seats.
See, from the 2023 elections, either it is Chhattisgarh or Andhra Pradesh or Haryana or Delhi, all we have seen is wild swings are possible. Wild swings. Because we saw in Telangana, we saw a 13% swing from BRS to Congress. Same is the case, 8% swing in Andhra Pradesh in 2024. And then we saw in Haryana, the JJP party crumble by 7%. And in 2023, BJP swung almost 10% to 12%. And everybody said they cannot, but they pulled it through. So when Maharashtra, no, it's basically happening. So Delhi, 10% swing, over 10%, because AAP was at 53. And literally, and from 37, BJP came up to 46.
But if you go back to that graphic, JVC, you go back to that graphic.
Yeah.
Go back to that graphic. The bulk of the seats, the TMC has won by between 10 to 20% or more than 20%.
More than 20%, leave it out.
Okay.
Because we have managed, we have seen that up to 15% swing is possible.
Okay.
If there is a real anti-incumbency and if you have the booth organization, then up to 15% can be managed.
So even in the 10 to 20, even if you were to take half, let's say 26.
Yes.
So 26 plus 29.
Yes.
So those are the seats, that's the firewall.
You cannot break it. You cannot breach it. That's probably, that's why I kept saying that South Parganas, you cannot touch it. Probably one seat you will win, BJP.
So basically there's about 55 seats. So that's up to about...
Exactly.
That the BJP...
Yes.
So BJP starting point in this election is 244, not 290.
I would say 225.
225.
Because I'll have to factor in demography also into picture.
Okay.
They need to strike at 148
Okay,
or 125.
before we end, I want to ask Sabaji. Sabaji, will you call the elections free and fair if the verdict is not favorable to the TMC?
No, I think even if the TMC has a landslide, I think the issue of the SIR deletions, these are very serious issues.
No, that is a separate issue.
No,
I'm saying free and fair elections.
The role of the Election Commission?
I have a serious problem with the way the Election Commission at every stage has conducted this election. And this has got nothing to do with the outcome. I'm holding two thoughts in my mind at the same time.
Okay.
As I said to you earlier.
Both of which can be true.
Both of which can be true. I have an absolutely well-crafted issue against the way the Election Commission in the age of Gyanesh Kumar is
I
functioning.
take this forward at 8 p.m. Viewers, we're taking a quick break. Lots more lined up when we return. Please stay with us.